Hello everyone, I'm Janadar from University of Moratowa. Today I'm going to deliver a lecture on learning from mistakes. And with this lecture, I'm going to emphasize why making mistakes is the best way to learn. So without further delay, let's have a look on our presentation. To kickstart my lecture, actually I would like to start it with a few questions. So my first question is, have you ever failed a test even though you studied? Actually, you studied hard. And also, have you ever made a mistake in a game or a sport match, whether you are a video gamer or you are an athlete or some kind of sport player? And also, have you ever tried something new and you messed up? And for the finally, have you ever got an answer wrong in front of the whole class? I know these situations are very embarrassing, but we have to face them. We have to go through those kind of situations. And guess what? Every successful person in the world has raised their hand to these questions too. So let's see why mistakes matter. Why actually making mistakes matter. So for the first, your brain learns best by trying things and making mistakes. Actually, if you don't put yourself in this kind of situation, how would you know? And also, when you get something wrong, your brain figures out how to fix it. Actually, that's the real mechanism behind the perfect problem solvers. And all every mistakes teach you what not to do next time. Actually, what not to do next time. So, if you already came through that situation, you know what's going to happen. And also, successful people are not people who never fail. They are people who learn from failing. Actually, from myself and also from the others who succeed their education, their career, and much more. Everyone got failed, but they never stopped. That's the real secret behind that. When moving to the next slide, actually, it says about the growth mindset. Actually, there's two ways of thinking. Either you can pick the good way or bad way, but I suggest you to stick with the good one. Actually, the first one is fixed mindset. This is the wrong way that I am talking. Actually, in this mindset, you can talk about yourself some negative things. Actually, you may assume that you can't do some tasks by good scale, and you are bad at something or something like that. So as an example, I am bad at maths, I can't draw, I'm not good at sports, I will never be smart. I think you may also have been in this kind of situation. I'm also, for myself, I also have been this kind of situation, even in my academics and also my volunteering tasks. And also, even for me personally, actually I'm a graphic designer, I'm also came of this kind of situation in number of times. And also, when talking about even in the sports category, you have to keep pushing yourself to the limits. And also, let's move to the growth mindset, which is the right way of thinking. So the first one is, you can think like, instead of that way, you can think like in this way: I haven't understood this topic yet. So in subject matters, you can assume like this. And also, I'm still learning to draw. Instead of I can't draw that, you can say I'm still learning to draw. So, and also, I need more practice. That's the real secret. Even when you're doing sports or any kind of artistic things, or even in the academic side, you have to practice yourself. And also, my brains grow stronger when I challenge it. That's actually true. Even neuroscientists have identified that we are pushing our brain to our limits, it gets stronger. So, actually, scientists also proven that when you make a mistake, then correct it, and your brain actually grows new connections. Mistakes literally make you smarter and make you wiser. And also, for the last but not least, I can say, assume your brain like a muscle, actually muscle. So there might be some gym rats also. Actually, that's a good thing. Physical health is very important to you. So you can say, you can think your brain like muscle and think it gets stronger when you use it, especially when things are hard. So let's move to our next slide. So in this slide, I would like to talk about some real life example, the light bulb story. Actually, I think during our young grades, actually grade 3 or 4, I think maybe, as I remember, actually we learned the story of Thomas Alva Edison, actually who invented the light bulb. Actually, I guess in the 18th or 19th century, he was the inventor of the century. So let's have a look on his journey. Actually, he tried over 1000 different materials for light bulb. Actually 1000 is not a small deal, it's a really big deal. And also he used cotton thread, fishing line, even hair as a filament for his bulb. And also each one will burn out quickly or didn't light up, but he never gave up. And also when people said he failed 1000 times, he replied, I didn't fail 1000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1000 steps. Look at his courageousness, look at his attitude in that saying. And also finally found the right material, carbonized bamboo, and it changed the world forever. We don't want to be in the dark anymore. So see, the things are changing. You have to push yourself. The lesson you have to take from this story: every time something doesn't work, you learn what not to do. That, and also you have to think making mistake is a part of the progress. If you are making mistakes and you are in challenges, that means congratulations, you are in the right progress. So from our next slide, actually I'm going to take you through another real life example, the post-it note accident. Actually, post-it note accident might not be make some ring bells for you. Actually, this is about the sticky notes that Sri Lankan students are saying. So this is a story behind the sticky note. So in 1968, the scientist Spencer Silver was trying to create a super strong glue. His intention was creating a super strong glue. He accidentally created a weak glue instead. Actually, this is a very contrasting situation. His goal was create a super strong glue, but he created the right opposite of that. It stuck, but peeled off easily. He thought he had failed completely. But years later, actually, his colleagues used to make bookmarks from that don't fall out. Today, post-it notes are everywhere, in every office, school, and home. Actually, I think most of you also know sticky notes for your academic works. The big lessons you have to take from this story is what seems like a failure might be useful in a different way. Sometimes your mistake is actually a discovery. Don't throw away your failed ideas too quickly. They might be solve a different problem. Actually, this is very true for myself, and also I have seen this situation in so many scenarios. And at the end of my this slide, I would like to ask one question from you all. Have you ever created something by accident, and is that turn out to be useful or cool? Take time and think about that. So in our next slide, I'm going to take you through another real life example. It is about learning to ride a bike. Actually, this is about riding a bicycle. Actually, I think most of you can ride bicycles, because when we are young, actually we learn to how to ride a bicycle. Actually, that's very cool experience back in that time. And also I know that's hard, that's difficult. You have to push yourself, you have to fall, you have to stand again and try to ride bicycle. That's how the things go. So remember, when you learn to ride a bicycle, actually you probably fail many times, scrapped knees, bruised elbows, and maybe some tears. Actually, that's part of the process. But I know you all never gave up. Did you think I am terrible at bikes? I will never learn? No, I know you already crave to ride bicycles. I know in our young age, riding a bicycle is a cool thing. Actually, everyone us need to ride a bicycle. So, and now you can ride without even thinking about it. That's the process that you have progress that you have to follow, and at the end you don't even need to think about it. You can just ride the bicycle the way you want. And let's learn the connection in between them. Learning new learning anything new is exactly like learning ride the bicycle. First time confusing and you fall, make mistakes. After practice, it feels natural and automatic. This applies to so many scenarios, even you are doing photography, sports, so much things like that. And also, the falls weren't failures, they were the part of learning. Actually, that's true. As a undergraduate of University of Morocco, actually, the A-level times was a bit hard for me. Actually, we have to push ourselves and we have to lock in ourselves because getting to University of Morocco and getting the Faculty of Engineering is a bit harder. The competition is tight and we have to lock in ourselves. We have to stop. We have to stop our distractions, but we have to push ourselves. Actually, this is also in those situations sometimes we fail miserably. Actually, some lessons like integration differentiations are hard, but we have to try again and again and understand the concepts, how the things gonna work, how the maths gonna apply. We have to think about them. So from myself, actually, even in academic situations we have to apply these kind of concepts to that, and it works really well, actually really well. So the truth behind this is your brain learns best through trial and error, and mistakes are literally how you get better at anything. What something you are not good at now, and that you will be able good in 6 months if you keep trying. Actually, I would like to ask this. So think about something that you are not good at right now, but I think you think but you can be good at it in next 6 months. Think about that. There may be some academic work or some sport or some extracurricular skill that like there is like photography or some recreational activity. Okay, let's talk about common mistakes that students make and the way how to fix them. Mistake number one, giving up too fast. Actually, what it looks like when you're saying it's too hard, I can't do it after the first try. Actually, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I know we are already doing that in various scenarios. So the truth is, everything is hard when you're first at start. In your first try, everything feels confusing, everything feels bit difficult, but you have to push yourself. So what to do? So use the 5 try rule. Try at least 5 different ways before asking for help. Actually, for myself, actually from my personal experience, that this technique works very well. Actually, I think it took me around a year to learn Photoshop, which is one of the hard skills that you have to know when you are doing graphic designing. But actually, I think the 5 try rules is very good for when you are doing some recreational activities using Photoshop, because when you are trying different ways, you eventually you're gonna figure out the best way to do that. You try this way and it get failed, and you try another way and it also get failed, and you also finally figure out, this is the way, then I can do this. So the mistake one, giving up too fast. So you have to know, don't give up too fast. So mistake number two, comparing yourself to others. Actually, I know we all are human beings. We are adapted to compare ourselves with others, but don't judge them, others, and yourself, because each of us coming from various backgrounds, and we all have various different stories behind ourselves. So, actually, what it looks like, everyone else get this except me. So this is also kind of negative feeling that you comes to your mind. The truth is, people learn at different speed and you don't see their struggles. Actually, this is very true because you don't see the struggle behind them, that they are failed attempts and the nights they cried over several things. You don't see them, you see the end result, and you assume that you are only the one who is not good at this. So what you should do, compare yourself to you from your last month. So you can compare yourself uh, with your with also yourself that you are back in 6 months. Are you better than you were? Absolutely. All of us making progress all over the time, and I think it's the best way to compare yourself with you. So mistake number 3, being afraid to ask questions. Actually, as a university student, I know this is a very bad mistake. Even in your university, asking questions is, I think, one of the successful ways to learn because it is very engaging and your body also like to ask questions, and you are feeding your curiosity. Actually, this is one of the great way to learn. So let's see what it looks like. Staying quiet when you are confused because you don't want look dumb. Actually, I know when you feel like that you are asking a question might feel you dumb, that you are dumb, and also it may draw some unwanted attention toward you, things like that. Actually, people might not remember those things, but the thing is the fact that you are learning. So you have to feed your curiosity. The truth is, asking questions is smart. It shows you want to learn. Actually, when you're asking questions, that all the teachers and professors might think, this guy want to learn this chap, we have to help them, and he also get a positive impression about you. So what should we do now? Remember, every smart person has ton of questions, and you have to break the barrier and ask questions. You have to resist against your negative self, and you have to ask questions from your uh, colleagues, teachers, professors, and the people who teach about anything. And you have to ask questions from yourself also. You have to reflect yourself. So actually, I take some example from video games and learning. Actually, I know most of the people, actually the boys who are watching this, at least played one or two video games in their life. Actually, I know playing video games is fun, but with the academics and stuff like that, we have to stop that in our life at some point. So actually think about your favorite games. Actually, in the first attempt, you probably died or lost a lot. Actually, even in shooting games or racing games or stuff like that, even in open world game, you may die in the first attempt, and you didn't quit after dying once, right? Yeah, obviously, right. You may not quit in the first attempt. Each time you lost, you learn something. Oh, like that. Oh, I need to jump in there. That enemy is stronger than I thought. I should save my power up for the boss. Actually, things like that. You are learning. Instead of quitting, you are learning because you are like to put yourself in that scenario. You want to go up in the game. You want to go up your levels eventually, and you beat the level. That's how games works. So the secret that game developers are using, the best games are designed to let you fail. Actually, that gives a mix of feelings that if you are if you are think like a game that in the first attempt you can easily pass, then you may think, this game is so much easy for me, there's no challenge for me, and you may also feel boring. So when you are feeling, it get interesting. That's the secret of games. And also every game developers first game had tons of bugs. They fixed the bugs and made new games and got better. your favorite game probably wasn't their first try. Actually think like a game like GTA, Grand Theft Auto, Need for Speed, games like that. Actually those open world games might have thousands of bugs, but at the end they are giving us a good product because they, they are re-evaluating themselves, they are uh, debugging the games and things like that. So learning in real life is just like leveling up a game, and each mistakes teach you how to beat the level. That's actually true. That's the key takeaway we can get from this story. Okay, our next slide is about Lego Tower Challenge. I think some of you might heard of Lego, actually, which is might rare in Sri Lanka, but it is very abundant in foreign countries. Actually, Lego is a piece of building block, something like that. Actually, this is a toy, very interesting tool. It is very cool to play with them. So, actually, this is about a simple building experiment. So, in the first attempt, you have to stack pieces straight up. You have to build a tower from the Lego bricks. So, what happens? Falls over when it get tossed because the foundation is too weak or the supportive elements are too weak, something like that. The, when your tower gets falling or stuck or something like that, the lesson you learn needs a wider base. You need a proper foundation for that. In the second attempt, making a wide base. So what happens? It's stable but uses too many pieces. You are spending too much Lego pieces only for the foundation and can't get very tall before you running out of pieces. And the lesson you are learning is need to balance width and height, and you have to figure out what is the sweet point of the base and height. In the third attempt, you start wide and gradually make it narrower. What happens? Tall and stable. Even think like a structure like Eiffel Tower, the base is much wider and the tip is much narrow. Think like that. And the lesson you learn, this is how real buildings and bridges are designed. So in the first attempt, you didn't figure out the what's behind that. You are trying to push yourself for the maximum height, but you don't get it. But in the third attempt, you figure out that real buildings have good foundation and also narrow structure in the top. You you basically made mistake and figure out how the real things works. Actually, that's the beauty of learning. So the big point that you can get it from this activity is each failed tower taught you something specific. You don't learn You didn't learn this from just reading. You learn by building and failing. Actually, for myself, actually practical attempts is rather than studying about some concept, we can if I can do some practical attempts, it might work more successful for myself. Actually, it might be different from person to person. For myself, actually doing the practical thing is much more successful. And also now you understand how structures works at the end. The big 3 points are those. And this is why hands-on learning is so important. If you are in a field like robotics or automations, actually learning only the concept is not enough. You have to experiment things. You have to build robot, you have to build the arms out, and you have to fail your attempts burning your ESP32 boards or Raspberry Pi boards. You have to put yourself in those kinds of disastrous situations. For myself, actually those situations are very disastrous and cost you a ton of money, but you have to push yourself. And whether it is science experiment or art projects or sport practice, you have to do that. Actually doing it and messing up teaches you more than just watching. Actually that's true. Actually also there's a saying, you have to, if you want to learn swimming, you don't want to stay in the ground, you have to put yourself in the water. So in this slide, actually I am going to help you through to be good in self-evaluation and understand your progress. Actually, in this slide, I'm going to talk you about the failure resume exercise. So imagine creating a failure resume that leads. So this is like a log record of failures. So you can add the projects that didn't work out, tests that you did badly on, and the skills that were super hard at first, and the times you embarrassed yourself trying something new. So basically the embarrassing situations that you have went through. And let's see why this is important to you. Why would you do this? It shows how much you tried. Actually, obviously these things shows. And also successful people have longer failure resumes, and also it proves you are brave enough to attempt hard these things. That's the most important thing. In your future you might get new challenges and you have to take risk. So to be risk appetite enough to face challenges, it's it's better if you have failure resume like that. You can see that you got embarrassed even worse in the future, and you can put yourself in the next challenges easily. And also it motivates you, and also it gives the feeling of pleasure that you have made so much progress even in your even in your past, and you can make good performance in your future also. So as I told you, you can see that you can add the failed projects and mistakes in games or sports, and also subject that you weren't confusing at first, things you can't do that used to be impossible. Actually, the riding bike example, something like that. And look back at things that you struggled with 1 or 2 years ago. You probably can do them easily now. Actually, that's true. Actually, doing some subject like physics and also combined maths, actually chemistry, actually most most of you probably get confused at the first attempt because things concepts are hard, you can't understand in the first attempt, but you have to do, and eventually it get much more easier. And that's the proof that mistakes lead to growth. Now let's learn about building your mistake recovery system. Actually, this helps you to understand your mistakes and also do better in your next attempt. So when something get wrong, you can follow these steps actually. So the first step is pause and breathe. In your first 5 minutes, when you made a mistake, in your first 5 minutes after the mistake, you can pause and breathe and take a rest. It's okay to feel bad for a bit. Actually, we all, every one of us feel bad when you do mistakes, and you have to take a break if you need it. And you don't let one mistake to ruin your whole day, because one mistake is a small part of the day. Don't let it to ruin your whole day. So let's move to the next step. Step number 2: figure out what happened. So if you are following your mistake recovery system, figuring out what's the mistake is very important. So the things you have to do is you have to understand what exactly went wrong, what did it happen, what part could you control. So imagine you are solving a mathematical problem, you can and go back the steps that you did, and figuring out what the exact case that I made mistakes are. Something like, oh, I made a mistake when assuming the constant or something like that, or multiplying this equation. So something like that, you have to figure out what the place that you got mixed up. In step number 3, you have to make a plan, and it should be actually if it is better if you can make it in the same day or in the next day after you made the mistake. So in the plan, you have to do what you will do differently in the next time. Whether you are following the same path, or it will be better if you are following different path, take a different approach, and be specific. Not study more, but study 30 minutes after the school. Actually, setting up specific goals drives you better performance. Actually, think like we are returning home after finishing the school, and I think you may think I have to study today and just it, But if you're setting a specific goal that I have to study 5 hours for the specific chemistry subject, chemistry part, let's think thermodynamics, actually not for the chemistry, or for the physics thermodynamics part, I have to study 5 hours straight up. That would work better than the just the concept I have to study. And also you have to think who can help you practice or understand it, the mistake better. Actually, you have to get help from people, because we are not perfect at everything and we have to get support from others. So when you're making plan, you have to figure out your approach, and you have to be specific when setting up your goals, and you have to mention the resource person that you can get support in the next time. As our final step in our mistake recovery system, you have to try again and you have to keep going. That's the real secret of success. You have to learn what you learn during your past mistakes, and it's okay if you mess up again. That's more learning. Actually, we can think, instead of oh I messed up again, you can think I learned some more things in this, in even in this mistake, than the previous attempt. And also each attempt get you closer to the success. That's the real beauty of making mistakes, and you will be better over the time. And this is how scientists, athletes, and all of the artists and every successful people actually improves. Actually, even the greatest scientists are not also making mistakes. So that's the thing you have to understand. Making mistakes is okay, and you have to push yourself for the better results in the future. So in our previous slides, we learned about the mistakes, and within our next slide, we are going to talk about the mistake to avoid and also mistakes to embrace. That is very important part, that when you are making mistakes, what are the things we have to avoid, and what are the things we have to embrace. When talking about the mistake that we have to avoid, actually they are calling red flag mistakes. Learn quickly and stop doing. That's the main key thing. So cheating or copying someone works. Actually, I know most of the academic stuff people do this, and also this is not good. And also being mean to others when you're frustrated. Actually, other people are not responsible for your feelings. You have to manage yourself. So don't be mean to others when you're frustrated. And also giving up without trying. Actually, if you never try, you will never know. That's the main thing you have to learn. And also finally making the exact mistake over and over without changing anything. That's also good, not good for you. Actually, making mistakes are okay, but don't repeat it again and again without making any change, because eventually you are making the same mistake. So you have to improve the approach that you are taking for the success. The mistakes that we have to embrace, the good mistakes, actually these mistakes help you to grow. The first mistake is trying new approach that doesn't work. So for ourselves, actually, as human beings, we are not perfect, we don't know everything. But for the same task we have to take new approaches, and at least when you are taking new approaches, you are also figuring, you might figure out a way, and also sometimes that might not work. But it's okay. Also, when you are taking so many approaches, that you also may discover a brand new approach that no one does it before. And also volunteering to answer even though you might be wrong, that's also a good mistake. And in the next time you might perform very well. And also attempting something harder than usual, actually being average is a trap. Actually, you have to put yourself to the stress, put yourself to struggle. And that's good. And also making errors while practicing something new. So even in fields like programming and automation and AI stuff like that, so you have to make wrong syntax, and you have to make errors. That's because if you are making errors, that means you are learning the right use of the syntax or right the things, right concept behind the concept like sorting or like that. So when you are making errors while practicing, that's good. Even in the sports, like actually when you are practicing sport like football or cricket, actually making sport, making errors make you a good performer in the future. And I would like to ask one question from the slide. Actually, which type of mistakes that scares you more? Actually, it is you scares you more, and also which type should you making more fun? Which type of the mistake that are the mistakes to avoid, or the mistakes you are going to embrace? Let's see the difference between those mistakes that we have to avoid, and also mistake that we have to embrace. Actually, bad mistakes hurt yourself or others. Actually, that's very terrible scenario. And also good mistakes teach you and make you better. Actually, good mistakes make you perfect in the future. And also everyone makes mistake, both kinds. The key is learning which is which. Actually, you have to figure out is this is a good mistake or this is a bad mistake, and you have to make your progress according to that. Actually, mindset plays a key role in the progress. And also when you are making mistakes, you have to talk to yourself, and you have to shift all way of thinking to new way of thinking. So instead of saying I'm terrible at math, you can say math is hard right now, but I'm getting better, and now I know what to do differently. And also I'm always messed up, and I mean you can say instead of that I made a mistake, I know what to do differently. And also for the last, you can say in a situation like I wasted my time on this. Most of the university students and all the school students are saying that I wasted my time on this subject or this relationship or this game or something like that. You can say I learned what doesn't work, and that's the valuable information. That's really true. And the way you talk to yourself affects how you feel and whether you keep trying or be your own best friend and you are not your own buddy. And also there are a set of questions that you have to ask from yourself before trying something new and after something goes wrong. The first set is before trying something new. So you can say what is the worst that could realistically happen. You have to figure out your risks, and also what will I learn even if it doesn't work out. You have to figure out those things also. And who can I ask for help if get stuck. And also am being a brave or just reckless. There are a difference being reckless and being brave. You have to figure out that also. You have to evaluate yourself, and also you have to understand are you capable enough, or are you just being reckless. So after something goes wrong, you you have to ask these questions from yourself. So what specific things led to this, and also what parts could I control, and also what was outside of my control. You have to figure out the boundaries of your controls. And also what could I tell my best friend if this is happened to them. What's one small thing I I can do differently next time. And also what did I actually do well. There's always something, because there's no such thing you are 100% messing up. At least there's some key takeaway thing that did you that you did perform well. Actually, for the last but not least, at the end of this presentation, the important message of from this lecture, and here's what you need to remember. Mistakes don't mean that you are dumb. They mean you are learning. Everyone make mistakes. Seriously, actually everyone, even the highest people in the society and also the wisest people in the education systems also may make mistakes, and also the best performing athletes still make mistakes. And next, your brain grows when you struggle. It's literally how it gets smarter. And also trying and failing is better than not trying at all. Actually, as I told earlier, something is better than nothing. And also you get decide what make mistakes me, and Are they disasters or lessons? Yeah, you're also going to figure out, are they disasters or are they lessons to you? And on the real secret, the difference between someone who succeeds and someone who doesn't isn't the person who never fails. That's the person who keep going after mistakes. You have to do, after making mistakes, you have to do it again and try again and again and push yourself to the limit and make it success. And I would like to ask one question at the end of this: what mistake will be grateful you made when you look back in 5 years? There may be some regrets, and also there may be some mistakes that you are being grateful to that. So this is our end of my presentation, and thank you for being with me throughout these 40 minutes, and thank you. And I would like to end this session with one quote from Albert Einstein: a person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. Remember that and keep shining. Thank you.